Hi, my name is Dennis, and I'm going to talk about our financial service program. First is our description and admission criteria. When dealing with financial issues, many Americans often don't think about their financial income, savings, or where the money comes from. They're just worried about spending it, and they're worried about them having it. They don't think about budgeting, planning, and any of that. This creates a disadvantage whenever our prisoners also have the same issue, but they also have disadvantage due to their status as an inmate. So, what does our program offer? Our program offers classes that will help inmates gain financial control and stability over their lives to help create more of a balanced life. Odds are, if a prisoner knows how to better finance their finances and know where it's going, they'll be able to do better within society. Our goals and objectives for inmates is for them to learn how to balance a checkbook, create a budget, how to manage their credit, learn to save their money and plan for retirement, and be able to track their finances. Eligibility and size. We have qualifications for inmates to come in. We have trustees, and those to be released within 18 months, so that whenever they are released, they'll be able to understand the financial struggles that current Americans are struggling with. They must have good current standing with prison in terms of violence. They can't have any bad standing with the prison. And then the max amount of inmates that we will allow to is 400. Why 400? Because each inmate will be allowed $1,000 whenever they successfully complete the program. Our rules for our program is that any disciplinary action over 3 times within the prison, no matter what it is, any disciplinary action over 3 times gives you an automatic disqualification for the program, even if you are almost done with it. Any trips to solitary confinement is an automatic disqualification, and missing more than 2 classes will make you disqualified for the class. We want you to attend the classes because that's our way of evaluating whether or not this program is successful.
Hello, I'm also Dennis, and I put together the budget for this financial program. Now, for this program to be effective, we need someone to teach the prisoners about the curriculum and what is going to be the content of the course. For this to be effective, we need at least 10 prison staff members and a maximum of 25 staff members, because each staff member that participates in this program will be awarded a $500 bonus check at the end of each month for an incentive. Now, for this program to actually be held, we need a place for it to be held in, and we will purchase a $150,000 modular classroom that will be built, installed, and delivered within 1 month. Now, for this program to actually work, we're going to have some startup materials, which includes pencils, notebooks. We're going to need long tables, desks, chairs. We will purchase a projector and a projection screen along with a computer. And since we are at a prison, we will have an 8-camera security system that will monitor the classroom 24/7. Now, since we were talking about incentives, we really need these incentives because it allows participation to bloom in this program. So, as I said before, there will be $500 added onto each employee's bonus check at the end of each month. That way, it creates kind of, man, I really need to participate in this program and help out the prison and help out these prisoners that are about to go back into society. That way they don't recidivate back into the prison. And along with the prisoners, you will get a $1,000 credit for completing this program, which will go to anything that you need in the prison, such as the commissary and everything. And this is just a slide of a spreadsheet that I put together on Excel, listing out all the items, the quantity, the prices, and the total that it amounts to the $1 million budget that we are allowed.
My name is Kelsey Bradshaw, and I have program content. In this financial program, inmates will be learning to do financial tasks that will better life back in society, because they have been out so long that they have become detached from the things that they are going to need the financial support on, such as house payments, managing their money, since they don't have a hands-on with any sort of money or income minus the commissary. Balancing a checkbook is one thing that people might not know how to do once they go in or remember how to do once they come in. The things to learn when it comes to that will be how to write down each transaction, be aware of bouncing checks, and how to compare their bank statements to what they have spent and how much money they do have currently. They will also learn how to manage a credit card. You will have to learn how to build your credit, especially after coming out of prison, because good credit can help you with getting houses, getting cars. They have to be aware of unnecessary spending. After having this freedom of all this money, they'll have to learn not to just go out and blow it all. They'll have to learn how to pay off their credit charges, because if they don't, they'll come into the problem of interest rates, and then before they know it, they're in major debt. They'll learn to money budget, things learning, putting back money for bills. If you have a $500 rent and you got paid $1,000, you know to put that $500 back in order to make sure you can pay your bills on time. They'll also be taught ways to help stay employed, because you have to have a job in order to get money in order to pay all your bills.
My name is Dave Pollock, and I will be talking about the empirical data for the financial services. The need. Money always causes problems, but the lack of money can open doors that most people usually don't go through. When you need money for basic necessities, it leads to desperation. When you're desperate for things, you do things that most people wouldn't do, which can lead to crime, whether it's petty theft, all the way up to drug dealing, all the way up to even armed robbery. Needing money definitely influences the recidivism rate of prisons. Educational classes and vocational programs give inmates the opportunity to positively impact their understanding of money and how to stabilize their lives. A recent report done by the RAND Corporation found that inmates who participate in correctional education programs have 43% lower odds of returning to prison than those who do not. Education opens a door to jobs, but not just jobs, potentially higher paying jobs. And education about how to handle your money gives understanding of how to put money away, how to keep money, how to keep the job, how to stabilize your life. Because just because you give someone a job doesn't mean they have the understanding to keep that job. So that's what part of this is. The same report also states that those who participated in vocational training were 28% more likely to be employed after release from prison than who did not receive such training. We also show how to vocational trade, whether it's getting certified or just getting experience, being able to go to someone, say I've been certified in this, or I have a year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years experience. While you are a felon, that can definitely be enough to win over a potential employer. What are the costs? What does this cost us, the taxpayers, the people that are paying and giving their money to keep these people in prison? Are we losing money? The answer is no. Overwhelmingly, the answer is no. Prison education programs are cost effective, with a $1 investment in prison education reducing incarceration costs by $4 to $5 during the first 3 years post-release. Not only does this greatly impact the lives of released inmates for the better, but in the long run, it will save the American people money. This is done on a grander scale, where you spend money to put people through, whether you spend $1,000, $2,000, $3,000, because they're not in prison, because they're staying out, you're saving that $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 when they would be in prison. So this is very cost effective. We know these programs work, but the prisons and inmates use them frequently enough to make a large dent in the prison system as a whole. No, and not exactly, not yet. Statistics show that less than half of soon-to-be inmates receive any instruction prior to their release. Soon to be, whether that's a year, 18 months, 2 years, people that are going to be released, half of them have nothing to do with this, whether it's because the prison doesn't offer or whether it's because they choose not to. Half of the people leaving prison have gained no understanding about how to handle their money, how to keep a job, how to get a job. They have the same knowledge coming out as they did going in, and that doesn't really help any of us. However, with the normality of these classes in prisons gradually rising, One can only hope that these options become more widespread. As these options become more widespread, the inmate use of said options are taken and lives are changed for the better. In prison, the population the population average for not having a GED or the equivalent, so graduating high school, is usually around twice whatever the national average is. That RAND report said in the general population of free people, it's around 19%, and about 40% of the prison population hasn't graduated or doesn't have a GED. Programs that impact financial lives of inmates are very important and useful, but are not implemented enough to make a huge dent in the prison population. These people are not they're not the same. These are criminals. These are people who have been kind of put into this life. They don't have the understanding, they don't have the knowledge, they don't have the life training that most of us have. They haven't gone through high school, they haven't gone through college. So they're starting at a farther away spot than most of us are. As these prisons are put into place more and more, we should see recidivism rates get lower, while the lives of released inmates will continue to get better and more stable.